Hey everybody, welcome back to Going for Two with Jack Taylor. My name is Jack Taylor,
My name's Hunter too.
and we are back like we never left. We really debated on whether or not we should do a podcast this week because our absence has brought us our first three SEC wins of the year. We have completely turned this season around by not showing up, so we're going to show up now. Last time we talked to you guys, it was we were 0-6 in SEC play coming off the Vandy series. I think we had actually just played the midweek game after that Vandy series. Since then, we're 3-3 in the SEC with a run rule win over South Carolina and then a series win at Bama. And we're going to get into the Bama series, touch a little bit on the South Carolina series. I know it's kind of old news, but we just want to bring up the fact that it's Ole Miss Hate Week. Mm-hmm. And there will be some content later on this week, probably on our Instagram, definitely on our podcast on Thursday night, Friday morning. So we're not going to forget about that, but we do want to split up these two series because we already have enough games to talk about, and we want Ole Miss's series to get the full light. So
Yeah.
about ready to get into this?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go into this saying, with just full honesty, that South Carolina series, I made it my goal to not really watch a single inning of it. And part of that was because, we were coming off the Vandy series. It wasn't very fun. And me and Courtney were going to get a dog, so I was going to be gone for like part of the weekend anyway. And maybe that's what it took for us to just win one game and get this thing started. Bama, I watched a little bit of every game, so that was all right. But South Carolina, I just took the hiatus, and I did it for the team, really, and it worked.
Yeah, I watched like all the South Carolina games. Not sure I remember much of any of them. Kind of tried to force at least two of them. Honestly, the run rule, that doesn't really ring a bell that much. Because, like, at that point, it was just sad. So it gave away the Friday game, but,
yeah. Well, so do you want to talk about the South Carolina series first?
Yeah, sure.
That kind of makes sense, yeah. I'll look up the stat sheet, but you just talk about what you remember.
Yeah, so in the Friday game, we had a really good shot, and then it just kind of... I forgot the circumstances of it, but South Carolina scores 2 in the top of the 7th, and we just like couldn't fight back after that, and
right.
That just like put us in a hole, and it felt like we just let that one get away. I forgot who the pitcher. I think it was Colby in there, but
yeah, kind of odd though. I mean, now that we've seen the Bama series, we've seen Jurangelo have 4 SEC starts. And like his big problem in the Kentucky series and now the Bama series has been walks, and like he's only given up a handful of hits in both of those games, but the walks early on is what really got him, and it's kind of the what kind of defined his outings in those games. Against Vanderbilt, it was just home runs. Like he was throwing strikes, but they were just getting bombs hit off of him. Every pitcher that came in that weekend was. I mean, he wasn't alone in that. But the South Carolina series, his start on, I guess that was Thursday night. It was game 1. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, but I mean he kept the walks to a minimum. Gave up 6 hits, but never really allowed anything to get strung together. Struck out 9. I thought it was his best SEC outing yet, and obviously now that we've seen the Bama one, it's still his best SEC outing. But I was really proud of him for that one. Finally getting a good SEC start underway, and it was against a top 5 team in the country and a number 1 home run hitting offense too. So I thought it was a really good look for him. Obviously, we've seen some bad since then, but that gave me a little bit of hope that he can come out there, and I think that was all right-handed too. So
yeah, that was the first of those outings that were all right-handed, and this South Carolina one was the first where I kind of felt, well, at least us as a pod kind of felt smart for the don't start Dom thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have been nice to have him.
Yeah. But yeah, we lose that Friday one. Just can't make it happen. Then the game 2, that's a cakewalk game. We win 13-3. South Carolina can never get anything going, and and then in the Saturday game, this one was close, and then we gave up 7 in the top of the 9th, and it was just
right. And that one was a weird one. We started. Obviously, Nate Dom started that one, gave up back-to-back home runs to start the game. It was part of a streak where we were giving up a home run on the first pitch of 3 games in a row, which 2 of those were to South Carolina. 1 was to Grambling. But, Nate Dom was a part of that. He actually was able to turn around that start after giving up 3 in the first 2 innings and go 5 2/3. But, man, it just would have been nice to have a couple, like 2 or 3 inning outings from him over the weekend instead of 5.2 to start the Saturday game. But we go from Nate Dom to Tapper, who what even is his stat line?
I don't know what he did.
It's all zeros across the board, even like 0 innings pitched. Then we go to Casey Hunt for 1 1/3. And Aaron Nixon to Eintema to Parker Stinnett to Evan Sierra, and Parker has the worst of all the outings. Him and Eintema combined for the 7 runs that we gave up in the 9th inning. But just another weird start for Dom. Like, it's almost like people can predict that, a guy who throws hard and only throws strikes is just going to fill up the strike zone, and they just swing and hit it a long way. Getting through a lineup 1 or 2 times is fine, especially if you break it up 2 times over a weekend. But I just think that the Dom starting experience is has finally ended. Obviously, it has. He didn't start against Bama, and we actually used him properly. So,
in that South Carolina game, we brought in Parker after not throwing for over a month with the bases loaded, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like a midweek game at all. Like, it was a SEC game that was kind of in reach. It's probably a stretch to say it was in reach, but we had Sierra. we had Sierra available, and obviously he came in and got an inning. But
I don't know. Eintema keeps on coming in.
Yeah, I do not understand. We did not see Lofton at all in that South Carolina series, and he didn't start the midweek that week so that he could come into the, out of the bullpen. Lemonis did come out and say, I think that there was some injury issue with him, but when we get to the Bama series, we'll see that has more obviously been cleared up, because we did see him against Bama. So anything more coming out of the South Carolina series? I did want to touch on Dakota Jordan. And you were watching that game, so what did you see from him?
Yeah, Dakota was really good all weekend, and another guy who had like a good, I think Cameron James. I mean, not Cameron.
Slate.
Yeah, Slate. In one of the games, he had like a stupidly good at bat, and like you could see that something clicked with Slate. And it
ended up with like a really good single up the middle after like a 8-pitch at bat.
And then Lane hit into a double play. But besides that point, like something clicked in Slate, and Dakota, with his time off getting the watch, he looks like a different player. Like, Dakota's insane, and like we're gonna get into the Alabama series and everything, but
right, starting in the South Carolina series, we saw Dakota Jordan coming in and being the left fielder for the entirety of the weekend instead of Bryce Chance. It really was nothing like Bryce just stopped performing or stopped playing well. I mean, he's still batting over 350, but they were just what?
I think he's just injured.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure. I didn't actually know that. Yeah. But Dakota comes in, really has seized the opportunity. He's now batting north of 340. So that's really good, and making really good defensive plays and hitting the ball out of the yard too. So yeah, Dakota had a really clutch home run to give us the lead in the South Carolina game, the rubber match of the series, and then obviously pitching just can't hold that lead. Really wish we had Dom to close that game out, but man,
it's whatever. That's hindsight. No one would have ever thought about that.
All right, so
we beat Grambling 21-2. That was a game.
That was a weird one. Another one where all the starters at the end, or all the guys that were in the game when the game ended, did not start the game. So everybody got to be placed in that game. Just a typical midweek. We never win games like that. All right, moving on to the Bama series. Our first series win in the SEC of 2023. Man, it's been a while, and I think I saw the number. We've won 7 straight against Alabama, maybe 6 straight at Alabama. So I know that they have not been just a great baseball program, but we're not a great baseball program either right now. Bama really did get off to a really hot start. They were 14-0, and even before the season started, they were kind of a dark horse team to make noise in the SEC West. And I guess that's just returning talent. I'm not really sure where all that came from. Maybe their pitching was supposed to be good, but they have now lost. Right. We did not have good preseason projections either. They've lost 5 straight series, so they haven't won an SEC series yet. But they lost to Columbia to end their non-conference slate, then Florida, Kentucky, Arkansas, and now Mississippi State. The main difference between us and Bama right now, and like what's keeping them kind of afloat, is that they just don't get swept, and the games that they do lose, they're really competitive in. I remember watching the Florida series with them. It really did seem like they were in all 3 of those games against Florida's really, really good pitching staff. And Arkansas, I think they started out that series beating Arkansas 12-1. They've won a game in every one of these SEC series, but just have not been able to win a series yet. But they don't get run ruled once a weekend like we do, so they really did seem like a better team coming into the weekend. But we were really able to hang with them. And we'll talk about our starting pitching that I think really did kind of set the tone in the 2 games that we won. Yeah. So, I'll start off with Cade, and then I'll let you get the next game. So, okay. Cade starts the Thursday game. His first start back from injury. I think he had a bullpen's appearance. Was that against South Carolina?
Yeah, it would have to be.
He finished with 2 in that game that we run ruled him. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a no stress kind of situation. So we did see him for 2 innings. Then looked pretty good. Obviously kept us in the range for the run rule. So this was our first time seeing him back on the mound as a starter, and he was starting Thursday night, which is the Friday night slot usually. He went 3 innings, gave up 3 runs, had 3 strikeouts and no walks. So he was filling up the zone. He did have a pitch count, so we didn't expect to see him go very long. But 3 innings, he looked really good, and offense was able to provide him with an early lead. We did lose that lead, but for his first start back in the SEC, since first start at all since I think the Arizona State series maybe, I really did think he looked good. And I'm excited to see him, take over that Friday night role the rest of the way.
Yeah. The next game, kind of washed the pitching part of this one out of my memory. Jurangelo, he went 2 innings, 5 earned runs, 5 walks, only 2 hits. I don't know what we do, because the next one is also slightly an issue. Bradley Lofton, and I understand, like Bradley, we just have to give him more chances against SEC, and probably just start him instead. He goes 2 1/3, 1 hit, really long hit. 3 runs, 3 earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. So, yeah.
We just need that, Bradley.
But I'm not exactly sure what we do about Durangelo.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened. Like if it's, I doubt it's an injury issue because we're still seeing him out there. But I don't understand him only going out there to use one arm.
I think he's technically better as a right-handed pitcher.
Yeah, the thing is, and he's been a ambidextrous pitcher his whole life, and so anytime there's a left-handed batter, he throws with his left hand. Anytime there's a right-handed batter, he throws with his right hand. And that's great. But when he commits to only right arm, he has never faced left-handed hitters with his right arm before, so he misses outside almost every time. And you can pretty much mark it down. If he's facing a lefty with his right arm, he's going to walk him because it's just not comfortable like running it inside on him or running it in the strike zone at all. So he walked 2 in the first inning the other day and kind of got out of that unscathed. And then he walked the bases loaded in inning number 2 and then gave up a single up the middle that scored 2 and then a 3-run home run. And that's what happens when you walk batters. So I really am not sure what to do now that he's kind of committed to only the right arm. Since he started that, he's had a good outing against South Carolina and a bad one against Bama. So not really sure what we need to do moving forward. But I don't hate the idea of him coming out of the bullpen. But we'll just see. I'd be shocked if he was starting next weekend.
Yeah.
Or this upcoming weekend.
And then Brock Tapper comes in that one, and then that wasn't great. And then Logan Forsythe comes in to close it out. But we got, that one didn't matter. You want to talk about the third game, which was kind of a fun one?
Yeah. I forgot to mention the bullpen for the first game, actually. So we had Cade for 3 innings, and then we had Colby for 3 and Casey for 3. None of these guys were just perfect. I had just super sharp outings, but, I mean, it was a game where our offense scored 12 runs, and, our pitching didn't have to be perfect. So Colby had 7 strikeouts, but he really did labor. He had over 70 pitches for his 3 innings. KC was super efficient, 42 pitches, and I like that kind of KC. Sometimes he comes in and he's super dominant with his breaking ball, and, like getting strikeouts. Sometimes he's just pitching to contact and doing really well. So kind of seen both sides of Casey Hunt, and I'm really starting to like him. I mean,
it's weird.
It's like if Dom's not coming in, I'm pretty happy seeing Casey in. And we actually did see him for a really, really short outing on Saturday, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So talking about Saturday, Landon Gartman, he's just an old Chevy truck. It's not pretty, but he comes in, gives us 4 2/3 in a start, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts. Really, I thought really, really sharp performances back-to-back weekends for him. He started the game that we run-ruled South Carolina, started this rubber match against Alabama. Actually had a really good start against Vandy too, but we just didn't pull him early enough. So,
and honestly, in this one, he should have gotten out of there with
2 runs given up.
And I think that would have been 2 unearned, right?
I think so. Yeah, right. So yeah, I think that's becoming exactly what we're going to get out of Landon every time, and so really good job by him. We followed that up with Casey Hunt for 6 pitches. He comes in for 1/3 of an inning, gets a strikeout, I'm pretty sure, and then we see Dom the rest of the way. And this is just what Dom needs to be. This is an extended outing for him, 4 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, and no walks, just like Casey Hunt in the Thursday night game. I mean, this is Dom. He's throwing 98 plus for 4 innings straight, and he's not doing it for strikeouts. I mean, this is just really, really good pitch to contact, really, really efficient. Less than 15 pitches per inning, and I just thought looked really, really good. And this was the first time that we've used him properly since the Kentucky series, which there was some mismanagement before he came in that could have made that game go a little different. But I don't think that you can see how he was used in this game and think he should be used as a starter.
Yeah. If I can get 4 innings and feel like, oh, he's not giving up more than 2, and I feel really good about him not giving up 1.
And it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to look exactly like that. It doesn't have to be 4 innings to close out Game 3. It could be, 2 to 3 innings in Game 1, 1 or 2 innings in Game 3, and that's perfectly fine. I think that he's more than capable of doing that, and I think our coaching staff would be willing to use him in that way.
He only threw 49 pitches in this outing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, super efficient. That's just over 10 pitches per inning, so that's just that's crazy.
And if we build up a lead, heck, we could throw someone out there to close the first game after he's in for a while.
I mean, we went this whole weekend and didn't use Sierra, so I don't know what our plan for him is right now. I mean, he was used a lot, especially before SEC play, but I still consider him a reliable pitcher, especially if you have a 5-run lead or something like that. So that's our pitching for these 3 games. Now let's get into the fun part. Why don't you talk about Ross and DJ for our offense?
Yeah. So Ross is our catcher.
100%.
That's it. He had 6 hits, 3 home runs, and 5 RBIs, and he had no pass balls and caught 1 out of 3 runners stealing. Pretty good from the freshman.
I'll take it.
Just let him figure it out back there.
A month ago, he was averaging a pass ball per inning.
He almost got that guy on third on that one play. That
was really slick.
Dakota is insane. I love him. He has 4 hits, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, walked 3 times, and then just made a silly play in left field. I don't know if it was actually that hard of a play or he
probably made it look harder than it was, but
it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you get to talk about the fun freshmen, and I get to talk about the 2 veterans that just looked horrible this weekend.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Do you want to talk about the good one first?
The good. What?
Talk about the good one first.
Do we have a good veteran?
Oh, weird.
All right. Luke Hancock. 3 games, 1 hit, 1 walk.
Came up in big spots.
Came up in huge spots. I'm going to see how many strikeouts we had on the weekend for him. Just give me a moment. It might be 0, but it's at least 1. Game 3 now. Yeah, he had more strikeouts than walks this weekend. But yeah, 1 hit, 1 walk. Lane Forsythe had a couple hits on the weekend, but committed 2 errors in the field. He now has the most errors in the SEC with 11, and his average has now dropped to 250 on the year.
That's not great.
Lane, buddy. I understand Luke Hancock is going to be in our lineup no matter what. He's probably the best first baseman that we have, and I understand he's batting .320. The hits are coming from somewhere. They may all be coming in midweek games, but they're coming sometime. Lane is in the lineup because of his defense, and the defense is not there. He had a really good end to the 2021 year, which was his freshman year. He had an incredible year last year. I think less than 5 errors on the whole year. Now he's at 11. I think that the panic button for Lane is in the room for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to give up on Lane, but the panic button's there.
I don't know who we go with.
Because, he's had, weekends this year where he's been, scorching, but it's just.
I want to see Husak try short.
Yeah, I mean he had a couple starts at third, but just to go along with that, I mean like our defense was not just great the whole weekend. We had 2 errors from Lane, 1 error from Amani, which is rare at this point in the year. It really does seem like that might be his only one. I'm sure he's got a few more, but it seems really odd. And then Slade Alford just has another error as well. But yeah, I mean, just didn't play an error-free game all weekend, and that could have really hurt us. It gave Bama an early lead on for the final game, but we were able to come back from that one. But speaking of Amani, still an incredible leadoff hitter. For the 3 games, he reached base 6 times and he scored 4 times. Just continues to set the table, and even though we've seen Ledbetter kind of struggle a little bit, still batting .340. It seems like Amani is just going to be a constant at the top of the lineup, and he takes walks, he gets hit by pitches, he gets hits. I mean, he does anything he can to get on base, and it's just like a great money ball kind of guy.
Yeah. Do you know that he is on a 13-game reach base streak? His longest of the year was 18.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty incredible.
Dakota is on an 8-game hitting streak.
That's wild. That's wild. I don't think Luke Hancock is.
Luke's longest of the year was 8.
Okay. There you go.
So if Dakota can get one against UAB, he will have the longest on the year.
Yeah. All in all, looking back at the Bama series, I thought that the bullpen. I thought this was the best. That the bullpen and the team was managed the whole season, especially in SEC play, and I guess that's kind of an obvious because we won the series, but like we punted at the right time. We didn't punt 2 games on the weekend when I think there were opportunities to. I think we trailed in all 3 games. So I mean, like there were chances to kind of give up, but pitching was handled well. Starting pitching on games 1 and 3 obviously kind of kept us in the game, and then bullpen was good from there. But I just thought, coaching staff receiving a lot of flack for some, and rightfully so, for some mismanagement. It was kind of good to see them handle a series pretty well.
Yeah.
So pitching still scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, we used like 4 pitchers, like 4 people out of the bullpen. Would like to see more than that. Pico officially out for the season. Got his Tommy John surgery.
Mm-hmm. So glad that went well.
He looked upset in his pictures after.
I wish we could have just known that was going on.
I wonder if they were like trying to bring him back, but I don't understand trying to bring people back without it.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, if they knew it was going to have to happen, like why do we wait until April to do this?
I don't really get it. But apparently he was throwing in the fall, so maybe I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he won't be out for all of next year. Hopefully not, but glad that he had a good surgery and hopefully the recovery goes well. Yeah, I think that's all that we have on the Bama series. It was a fun one. I mean, I like winning series, so hopefully we can carry that over. We have a couple winnable series coming up, so maybe we can keep this little game going.
Yeah.
Before we get to the Ole Miss series this weekend, which we're not talking about on this episode, but before all that happens, we will be playing midweek against UAB. As you're listening to this, we are playing them tonight. So UAB, not a great team. We looking at their schedule, they are 10-21. They've played 9 Power 5 teams, a few SEC teams in there, and they're 1-8 against the Power 5 teams. That was that one was a 6-5 win against Auburn. But they've had losses to Alabama, Notre Dame, Michigan. Did lose a game to Auburn as well. I know that our game against UAB last year in Starkville was one of the more memorable games of the year. Hunter Hines hit an opposite field walk-off home run, which was odd. I didn't know he knew how to do that. But not entirely sure who the midweek starter is. But if you had to give your best guess, who would you say it's going to be?
Evan.
Or it may just be a committee game.
Evan for like 2, and then
I like that. Speaking of
40 guys.
Yeah. Speaking of Evan, all right, give me a few guys who you think could start instead of Drangelo on the weekend, assuming Cade and Gartman are going to have their spots kind of locked in.
Bradley.
Bradley's an obvious one, I think. I do think Evan is a choice. Colby Holcomb is an option. I know he started a midweek game a few weeks ago. I hope that doesn't happen, but it's definitely an option.
I don't think they'd try the KC thing again.
I don't think so either. I think he's found his role.
I
like him
pitching like 3 innings over 2 games a week.
Yeah, I like him in his new role. He seems more confident in it. Yeah, the KC starter thing, I thought it was over last year. Apparently it was in his package deal to come back for this year and didn't work out again. So hopefully we don't fall for that a third time. But yeah, I think Evan is probably the best choice. A healthy Parker, kind of.
I don't even know. Like,
I would at least like to see him start a midweek, and just see how comfortable he is.
Yeah. Honestly, just Bradley.
Yeah. Bradley I think is good because, I mean, he may have more upside than Drangelo, and Drangelo's going to walk guys. So if you're going to keep on starting Drangelo, you might as well start Lofton.
Yeah.
I mean, both guys are probably going to walk batters, but I just think that Lofton has some of the best strikeout stuff on the team. Like a changeup that should get barreled every time, just doesn't.
What about Itama?
No, I think he should be just all-time bullpen guy. Itama for bullpen catcher.
Jeez.
Itama for team manager. So, yeah. So we have the UAB game on Tuesday night. Looking forward to that in Birmingham. So finally, not a home midweek game. Kind of random, but anyway.
What unis are we gonna wear?
Ooh, maybe vests.
I will keep on asking for vests to be back.
We hate it, but we love it. So. Before we get into Instagram questions, we are going to look back at some of the big series that happened this weekend, all the ranked matchups that we saw. And weather was kind of weird in the South, so a lot of SEC series kind of got moved around. Doubleheaders had to take place, but in this first series here, it actually canceled Game 3, so we only saw 2 of these games. But that's number 1 LSU at number 6 South Carolina. They split the first 2 games, didn't have a third one, and that really was shaping up to be like the series of the year.
Yeah.
South Carolina just kind of a blowout game 1. It looked like they were on their way to a second blowout, and then although they beat Paul Skeens, they could not win the second game. LSU comes back late and wins that one. So these 2 teams are going to be duking it out for the SEC championship. Seems like one from the West, one from the East.
Except for Vanderbilt exists. Just chilling at 11-1 in conference. And I don't think they're going to slow down. LSU lost 2 pitchers this weekend, to pretty not good looking injuries.
Yeah.
Also, Tennessee is 5-7 in conference.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
We're 2 games behind.
That doesn't feel real.
A&M's not having a good year? Yeah, they have the same record as Tennessee.
It blows my mind that we're 1 game up on Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we're 1 game behind Auburn and Alabama, who I think have both been ranked at certain times throughout the year. So, kind of odd, but
is the West open?
The West might be open. What's Arkansas's record right now?
8-4.
Yeah, we're not catching that. But
I don't think we can catch.
But
can't catch top 2, but third is way open.
Yeah, finishing third in the West is oddly enough
for anyone. Possible. Like Ole Miss could.
The winner of this series.
Nope. No.
All right. Series number 2 that we saw. Number 3, Florida. They won 2 out of 3 at number 11, Tennessee. Florida, really, really good. We just talked about teams competing for the SEC title without even mentioning Florida. Really good. And they're seemingly staying healthy throughout the year. So, they win the first 2. Tennessee comes back and it just flexes in game 3 and avoids getting swept. But Tennessee...
They absolutely bombed on... I forgot. What's
Caglione?
Caglione.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee definitely has the bats, but something about losing.
They're 1-6 on the road.
Jeez. In the SEC?
Overall.
Or just overall? Okay. Man. Moving to the ACC for these last 2 series, you have number 7, Virginia. They sweep number 20, Miami. And then number 9, Boston College, gets swept by number 18, Louisville.
Okay, so Louisville's good again.
Yeah, that's odd.
And Virginia's still good.
Yeah. In my mind, I always picture Virginia as like the underdog. But they're
just going to be like top 10 all year.
Quietly a top 10 team. And Miami, overrated as always. Boston College, same deal.
How are the Wake Forest frauds?
They swept NC State this week.
Oh my god.
2 games. They only played 2 games, but we like to call them frauds, but I'm not sure
they're not frauds. I'm gonna be early if they are though.
All right. Well, that is it for our results from this past weekend. As we wrap up the show, we are going to go to Instagram questions, where we didn't get many, but we will read the ones that we do have. First one from Jess Cooley. When is the college baseball season over and football starting? Well, whoever wins the series this weekend, they get to look forward to the rest of baseball season. Whoever loses, all they have to look forward to is football season. So they will not win the national championship no matter what.
No chance.
So there you go, Jess. It all depends on if you win this series or lose it. Last question is from Brooks Taylor. Did the Bama series help right the ship to a degree, at least hope?
Probably around 10 degree.
I think it had to have. I mean, this team winning that series, it showed that they at least have some fight in them.
Lamona's just being relieved in the video after.
Yeah.
It
made me feel really, really good for him. I mean, the whole coaching staff, the team. I mean, I have to believe it's pretty easy to just give up at some point when not all the fans, you just look on Twitter, everybody's just being negative. Me and you being negative.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, rightfully so, but it's got to be hard to keep on trying out there, after so many series losses in a row and getting run rolled, several times. But, I think this has to give some confidence. I mean, last year we won 3 series and one of them was against Alabama. So it says a lot about this team that series that are, up for grabs and you can actually win them. It says something about a team actually going out there and winning, because the Kentucky series was like that, and we just kind of dug a grave instead of trying to dig out of the hole. But anyway, I do think that it helped, like you said, at least to some degree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for our Instagram questions, and that's going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us as we talked about several games since the last time we recorded. We look forward to talking about Ole Miss and Ole Miss Hate Week on our Friday morning episode, excuse me. But until then, Hail State, and we'll see you back next time on Going for Two with Jack Taylor.
And welcome to the after show. Hunter Renfroe just hit a home run.
Really?
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll see the Wooded Dong thought about it. If it's in Angel Stadium.
Hey, Luke, how do you like being a Cardinals fan now?
What a horrid choice. Sean Murphy.
Cardinals just lost to the Rockies today.
Don't ask about the White Sox at all.
Since Luke became a Cardinals fan, they've lost a series to the Braves, lost a series to the Brewers, and now they've lost game 1 to the Rockies. So
that's tough.
You made your bed. Go lay in it, Luke.
Renfroe's not up on Wooded Dong yet. This is a travesty.
This is a Travis Scott.
Anything else of note for the after show? That wall at the Orioles park is silly.
Like it is bad.
Like, why did they just get a wall and move it back 15 feet? Just so Stanton, just so Judge can't hit home runs there. Wait, wrong side.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bad look.
I'm still waiting for the Wooded Dong. Oh, he should be posting it. This is horrible. Oh, Wilson Contreras fly out would have been a home run in 10 out of 30 parks. Hear that, Luke? Should have hit that fly ball in another park.
Bozo.
Alright, well, this was the after show. Thank you for listening.
Hope you enjoyed it, Luke.
See you next time.